This video is for 9.4 congruent figures. A two-dimensional figure is congruent to another two-dimensional figure if you can map one figure to the other by a sequence of rotations, reflections, and translations. And then this particular symbol is going to show what it means to be congruent to. So here, these two triangles are congruent to each other because they just shifted them over and then rotated them. So today we're going to be putting all of our lessons together. We're going to be rotating, reflecting, and translating. So let's take a look at our first one. We want to know what the difference is from ABC to A prime, B prime, C prime. So this particular one is just a translation. We have rotated, we have moved to the right 5 units and down 5 units. Here they're showing us that you can move it slowly in 2 steps, or you can go ahead and move it in 1 step. So there they've moved it the first step and then down. The other option is to go ahead and do it in 1 motion, but it's the exact same thing. So our other option is that you can go ahead and do it in 1 motion, but it's still translating it 5 units to the right and down 6 units. Okay, when we look at this one, we can go to the left 4 units and then up 2 units. Make sure that you are looking from D first, then to D prime. So here we're going over 4 units and then up 2 units. This is your next one. I'm going to give you just a minute to look at it. Remember, you're going to go from A to A prime. So let's look at our options. First, you could use 2 reflections. So you could reflect it across the y-axis. There's your y-axis line of reflection. And then you can go ahead and you can flip it over or reflect it over. Once you've done that, then you can go ahead and reflect it over the x-axis. There's your x-axis, and it flips over. So then it would map out as 2 reflections, and technically you could have flipped over the x-axis first and then over the y-axis. It wouldn't have changed a thing. The other one is by using a single rotation. So if you would have rotated it 180 degrees, then it would have mapped out exactly the same as well. So there's your center or your origin, and then you're going to take it and you're going to rotate it right around the origin. And you can tell that 2 reflections is the same as 1 rotation of 180. Let's look at our next one. This is a square. We want to go from JKLM to JKLM prime and figure out what that sequence is going to look like. When you have a couple of options on this one too. You could go ahead and rotate it 4 units to the right, and then you could rotate it around 90 degrees in place. This time the center of rotation is actually inside the square instead of at the origin. So this little green dot right here shows that it has just spun in place basically. So it's moved over to the right and then it's just spun in place. Quick look at this because it's going to show you that these are congruent figures. So when a congruent figure, then that also means that the line segments and the angles are congruent. So here we're going to see that AB is congruent to EF because it's the same length. And the same is going to be true with DC and HG, or FG and BC. So those are all going to be the same because they're congruent figures. I'm going to go ahead and switch down here to angles. The angles are going to be the same. So here you can see angle A is the same as angle E. And then the same is going to be true with the rest of the angles. So D is going to be the same as H, B is going to be the same as F. So you can see that those are going to be the same. You can also tell that if you have parallel lines on the first trapezoid, you're also going to have parallel lines on the second trapezoid because they're congruent. So congruent really means the same, and that's going to be what's important in this topic. Okay, so as you're looking at JAR, we want to know if it is congruent to LID, which means is it the exact same figure, just translated or rotated or reflected. And in this case, you can see that it is the same. Here is what they're going to do. So we're going to translate it over 4 units to the right, 1 unit down. And then we're going to reflect it right across that x-axis. So there's our line of reflection. Go ahead and make sure you draw that in. And then it reflects down over that. So go ahead and draw that on your notes that it is translated to the right and down and then reflected across the x-axis. Okay, the last one says which 2 triangles are congruent, which means which 2 are the same. And then we want to know if we were to, can we rotate them, can we reflect them or translate them to get them to be the same. Well, this is the only one that we can do that with. So the one ABC and GHI are going to be the 2 that are congruent. So here they have shown that if you translate it over, or if you reflect it going over, if you reflect it going across the y-axis and then you translate it down 7 units, then it will map out to be the same. So go ahead and draw that on your notes as well. So show it reflecting and then your line of reflection and then show it translating down. Okay, that is going to be what you're going to be expected to do on today's homework. I hope that you understand it. Thanks so much. Have a good day.